Hey people, Shaman Hawk here for Shamanic Lodge. I want to clear up a little bit of misconceptions about shamans. It seems like people put shamans in this one particular box where you have to act a certain way, look a certain way, have a certain way of thinking about things, and kind of a cookie cutter, cliche opinion or mental description about what a shaman is. And that's not really the case. You know, I guess in the New Age scene, which is out more readily available to the public, what is perceived to be the shaman is that person that looks, just like a New Agey kind of person, right? That has maybe the long hair, facial hair, things like that, and kind of like lots of crystals or animal body parts hanging around the neck, all kinds of little medicine bags and pouches and all this other stuff. Um, yeah, you kind of see that in the movies, but that's not really the case. What does a shaman look like? It, for the most part, like anybody else, you know, somebody that's a second generation shaman, meaning that I trained an apprentice, became a shaman, who trained someone else to become a shaman. Uh, for a while, he was working in the White House as a translator, sitting across from President Clinton. Clinton didn't know. The Secret Service didn't know. No one knew this guy's a shaman. When you look at him, he's got the military style haircut, the nice tie and suit, and all this other stuff, looking like what you dress like when you're going to be in the White House. Um, there's shamans that are sex workers. There's shamans that are preachers, because we play these certain parts, and we get integrated in these different job descriptions. And one person, we infiltrate. Yeah, okay, we infiltrate. But we're there for a specific purpose for a certain amount of time, and we have to fit that part. All the world's a stage, right? All of our lives are stories, and we become this contributing part of someone's story, or a group of people's story, a town story, and so on. And we fit that, so we have to be very mutable. When I remember I was doing a TV show years and years ago in Virginia, then they were interviewing for people, and so I go in there and what people call my uniform, you know, t-shirt, jeans, work boots, and that's about it. So I go into the door and they're like, "Hey, no, 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 all the prop crew, construction guys, you got to go in through the back." Sure, okay. So I go into the back. I'm waiting, just kind of like looking around, like, okay, so what's going on here? And one of the organizers like, "Hey, what are you doing back here, man? We've been looking for you." I'm like, "Well, I was told to come around to the back." And they're, "No, sorry, it's okay, cool." And then the people who told me to go around the back, they're like, "Oh my God." So I guess if I walked up there and I looked like I had all my animal body parts and crystals and all kinds of other stuff, they would, "Oh yes, sir, please come in. Would you like something to drink?" you know, woo. I mean, I don't mean make fun of it bad way, but come on. I mean, at the end of the day, we're people. We have specific training, we have specific job description and things, and to keep it kind of simple, I want to mention that the reason that we do a lot of things better than everybody else does is because we do these things more often. Just like any skilled trade, the more you do it, hopefully the better you get at it. So, but yeah, we get involved in politics, we get involved in activisms, we get involved in all kinds of things. And people are like, "Hey, how can you be into politics if you're a shaman?" Well, actually, politics is a really important thing to get involved in because it really affects people's lives. You look at the stuff that's going on, especially in the United States, which is really insane. I would have expected us to act a lot better than this, but all this destruction, looting, all this other, that's going on for this really false narrative, you know, you have one political party that's practically endorsing it, and like the Kamala Harris said that, yeah, it's going to keep going on until America surrenders. And another political party that's not really doing anything to stop it. So both sides are using this uncontrollable, um, tool, political tool, with this whole BLM thing, and to cause more stress to push us into a decision. And I just think that's just totally irresponsible of people in power. But they're politicians. You can't really expect much else, I suppose. So yeah, I'm gonna make political comments about things. I make political comments about groups having rights and things like that. We see with kind of like the liberal end, they want to like say everybody's got these rights, and they do. But then when we start going into pedophilia, for instance, and stuff like that, I've got my opinions about that, and I think that's kind of going a little bit too far. But I remember back in the '60s, a lot of things that are cool now that are, gone. They say now have gone too far. But we still have regular jobs. I'll go through this thing. I mean, I've got over 40 years in the construction industry. You know, so I can leave that and then go into doing sweat lodges or personal coaching or whatever like that. I've thought that I was getting out of shamanism sometimes, and then just to find that I was doing it some way different. I used to build these really huge houses, into the tens of millions of dollars, and for really rich people who, one guy in particular, had over 5,000 employees directly under his command. So, and I would talk to him as the sun was coming up because I got to, work really early in Miami. And we just talk about life. And this man, when he went to decision, here, think about this, 5,000 employees. Let's say each one of them has a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, and maybe a couple kids. You're looking at maybe 15,000 people that can be instantly impacted by that one man's quick decision. And these are highly stressed people in these positions. And we would just talk about life. And people like that often will talk to me or set appointments with me because they can't go to their therapist, because they can't go to anyone within that circle, because it's a liability, it's a security risk or whatever. So they'll make this special hidden trip to talk to me, or in a case like a couple guys that I built houses for in Miami, the early morning conference that we just say, oh, we're just talking about the job, but it'll be anything but that. One guy, really, really rich guy, he says, everybody I talk to wants something from me. I always like guarding my back. I'm always like looking over my shoulder. And I'm like, dude, that sucks. I don't have anything to steal, nothing to take from me. So he goes, yeah, when I was at that economic level, it was the same way, So these are the people who will talk to me as the everyday guy, and they don't know I'm a shaman. They don't know anything other about my training other than they like talking to me about some things that they can't talk about with anybody else. And then I go back and the wife, the kids, all the friends, I'm just another construction worker, So the same thing, I was in the Marine Corps for a while, in the 70s. And I did a lot of my shamanic, I finished my shamanic apprenticeship in the Marine Corps in 1978. And so I was doing it then too as a young man, working with other young guys and just, because that was the capacity I could work with at that time. And now I do other work with other veterans, who are getting back from, we all had our wars. So the capacity is really different. Sometimes the shaman has to be the antagonist. We say talk from the West, give these really provocative, borderline racist, antagonistic, rude comments just to shake people up, and to get them to like, what did you just say? And sometimes we have to act totally out of character with people. I mean, it's normal for an apprenticeship to sit across from the shaman and watch them work, if it's like an appointment or part of a ceremonies or sweat lodges, other activities. So in Germany a couple years ago, I was talking to a guy, and I had an apprentice and another person that's a shamanic practitioner sitting at the table with me, is I'm totally going off on this guy, you know, and they're looking at me like, what the hell? What are you doing? You know, what's going on here? But that guy needed that delivery. And then he changed after that. He came back with a different attitude and so on. By the way, people have made comments about, hey, you got animal noises in the background. I live on a fucking farm, okay? So, but, so when people come in this, how could you be a shaman? You sound like a political hack. You blah, blah, blah. Well, because it's a real versatile trade. We have to be extremely mutable. We have to just really be able to float from this one environment to the next, culture to culture, country to country, from super liberal, anything goes neighborhood to ultra conservative country, to where you really need to be careful what you say and do. And that's our world. I could get into so many more examples, but I can promise you this: the idea of what you think a shaman is probably wrong. Now, that's not to say that's a bad thing. It's not to crack on you or anything like that, but realistically, you would not have the opportunity to know the truth about what a shaman is, or what the shamanic life would be, or the things that we do. So think about when you're going to make these quick comments about what a shaman is, because it could be a lot different than you think. And you really have to, when you make that kind of a comment, you have to ask yourself, how do you know that? Okay, where's your knowledge about it to where you can make that kind of comment or decision, So people, if you have anything else that you could suggest that I do videos on, topics and things like that, let me know. The reason I say that too is I'm not doing one of these people like, oh, I need all the followings, I need all the, more likes and stuff. I don't make any money off this YouTube channel, um, but a lot of this stuff is so simple. There's no real point to going to paying for a lecture to these things. I'll tell you for free. My work per se is, the one-on-one appointments, or the sessions with people, or the group, the lectures and things like that. That's what I call my work. That's where, I get paid for those things. But the way I see it, what I can give you, to help your life make more sense, or, help in any way, so I'm glad to give you that. I'm happy to help out. Because too, the more that you understand about shamanism and metaphysics, by the time you do come to one of my classes or workshops or lectures, or the time that we would set up an appointment, you have a nice foundation to work from. Because a lot of times in the appointments that I do with people, the first half hour is me trying to figure out upon what type of foundation they are built. And then I can go up from there. So the hours, the 2 hours of appointments, and I really don't do anything less. A lot of it is finding out that foundation that they're built on, finding out where they are, where they want to go. And I know too that they're really not going to open up to me for the first half hour, 45 minutes. And that's even the people I've been working with a while. And it's usually that last half hour or so is when they really open up, and we can make some real progress. And that's not a fault of anything like that, that's just the way it works. Do you have a website of your advices? Actually, I just got one, Ellie Klesvaye. You'll see her on TikTok, and Ellie Klesvaye is also on Facebook. She just built a website for me. I got my old name back, blueplanetshaman.com, and I'll be doing more work with that, so stay tuned. In between farm work, building boats, grandkids and stuff like that, it just takes me a while to get things sometimes. Yeah, I should probably let people know that I'm going to do a live sometime, and then they can go ahead and come on with questions. I'm kind of a technosaur, so when it comes to technology and how to really work things around, I don't do that too well. I'm still learning, I'm still young enough to learn about that stuff, you know. TikTok, man, that's a that's a phenomenon. You know, I'm gonna get away from Facebook a little bit, you know, because it was a nice tool for a while. I've been on there since 2008, and but the censoring of the media platforms is just ridiculous. That's not American. You know, we're supposed to be able to say what we want when we want. You know, and as stupid as some of the things that I think I hear, I would still defend those people's rights to say those things because we should be able to do that. So I'm just going to really focus on more of, you know, one platform in particular and just use the other ones to direct people to that. As I find out more on how to work these things, I'll try to make it a little bit of a broader platform with more services, you know, but, you know, I can check email. That's about my skill level, you know. If you'd like me to come to your areas, you know how I usually work this stuff is you guys buy me the ticket to get there and back, pay for my food and lodging. Promoters, I give them 50% of what comes in because I know promotion and organization is a lot of work. What do I do when I first go to places is talk about how shamanism really does work in the 21st century, and then and how it can happen in everyday life. Yeah, like, see, I don't even know, like, on the messenger if it's a comment for this or if it's a messenger. So, so that was my thing. So, yeah, the website is blueplanetshaman.com, you know, and I'll be putting more work into that, you know, hopefully really, really soon. And on that, there's going to be other shamans too. There's going to be Shamanic Woman, uh, Oshoya Carolina Roji, you know, is from Transylvania. I'm going to try and get my buddy Andres Jimenez to write on that. So shamans that I know they're training from, that either I helped train them or I know where they came from. So the people that we allow to be on that site, you know, are going to be reliable, accountable, you know, because there's a lot of kind of new age flakes out there that, you know, talk to their cat and the cat told them they're a shaman. So they went, oh yeah, okay, you know, so, but that won't be on my site. All right, so I got to get busy, and starting to get a little cooler here in Central Texas. Totally digging that. Catch you guys later.